Good day, folks. It's back with me again, your favorite podcaster, Adika Burning Nurani. Yeah, and as usual, before we get into the topic, I hope you're all safe and having a wonderful day because where I live, the weather is just great. Not raining, not sunny, just great. And today, folks, we will be talking about games. Yes, that's right, games, and I know you all played games at least once in your life. And we will be specifically talking about online games, or we call it esport, because esport has been really growing lately, especially after this pandemic hit, and even it has become occupation. Like for example, streamer, YouTuber, even pro player. So you get money just by playing games and uploading it on YouTube. That's crazy. And you might be wondering, are games actually that bad? Is there any benefits you get from it? Or is it just a waste of time? So, without further ado, let's get into it. And yes, folks, it is actually true. You can get benefits by playing games. And that depends on two things, you and the game. Why do I say it depends on the game? Because if you play a shooting game that requires high reflex, it will give different benefits than the games that require strategic planning and also decision making, like chess. And the fact is, folks, that there is a study conducted by a US university that shown students who are expert at strategy games such as Dota 2, League of Legends, Mobile Legends, Age of Empire tend to have faster information processing than students who don't play those kind of games. And based on my experience playing those kind of strategy games, this is actually very related. And also, in that game, the game require the player to collect and spend resources. And based on what I read, this is also connected to money management in real life. Boom. And this is another thing I learned from my online course, that the more you get into your focus mode, the easier for you to stay or get into the focus mode. So if you are focusing on what you're playing, like if you're playing a strategy game and you're really focusing, so your focused brain is actually working. And the way it works, if you use that brain more and more, it will be easier for you to get into the focus mode. So when you're about to study, it is easier for you to start studying. And if somebody interrupts your studying, it is easier for you to get back into that focus mode and continue studying. Boom, number two. And secondly, it depends on you yourself. If you play the game like 8 hours a day, even all day, all week, all night, all month, that won't be beneficial because clearly you're addicted. And if you play the game while you're on a bed rest in a hospital, that is clearly unbeneficial and very, very disadvantaged. And I won't forget about addiction. Addiction is a condition where your mind is just really used to high rate of dopamine, and then once the dopamine gets lower or once it's decreased, you won't feel good, you won't feel normal, because the normal state of your mind is with high dopamine, and once you have low dopamine, you won't feel good. And to get that dopamine again, you will need to play games more and more, and over time, you will be more addicted. And some of you folks may be asking, what do I do when I already have a high dopamine minimum? Like when I'm already addicted to something? Well, this comes to one solution I know, and that is dopamine detox. Yes, you got it right. Just by the name, you may already know that It is a way to stop your addiction by not doing anything that has dopamine, like even listening to music, playing games, drinking alcohol, smoking cigarettes, and all those kind of stuff that brings high dopamine. You stop for some amount of time. This differs from people to people. Some people do it 1 week, some people do it 1 month, some even do it 3 months, and in that way it will actually, you know reset your mind, reset your minimum of dopamine, and that way it will be back to normal. Once again, this becomes different from people to people, and if you are really addicted for a long time, you might want to see the doctor. So if you ask me, is gaming a waste of time, or is it a good way to refresh your mind and still get benefits? Well, it depends on you. If you cannot manage your time you use on playing games, I suggest you don't. You may try once or twice, but not too much. Because once you get addicted, you won't be different to people who are addicted to drinking, smoking, and even social media. Because not everyone can do the dopamine detox, and not everyone succeed in doing that. So be careful. And if you cannot manage your dopamine you get, I recommend you do things that gives you low dopamine, like reading and exercising. It will give you real benefits and without any bad side effects. And this is something, folks, that you have to have planted in your mind. If you want to get physical benefits, because study shows that exercising gives benefits for your physique, and also gaming gives benefits, which one do you choose? Like, okay, if you have free time and you're limited to the outside, you can't do anything, you might want to choose gaming. But if you want to really focus on the benefits of physical and health, of course you need to choose exercising, because the benefits you get from something that is not purposed for it to do, like gaming, it's not purposed for exercising. Well, you might get some benefits for your physical, but not much. It's just not worth it. Despite to having a lot of bad side effects, you know what to choose, right? So, folks, as usual, before we end this episode, I just want to give a little summary to what we have talked about today. So, playing video games isn't always bad for you. You can get benefits as long as you can keep up with the amount of dopamine you get. But always remember that doing other productive things that is meant to be productive is definitely more beneficial. And that's up for me today. Thank you for hanging up with me today, and see you next time.